Welcome, everybody. Welcome. My name is Linton Felix, and you all are listening to and watching the Inside Out podcast with my co-host. Oh my goodness, his name is Michael Alman. Also joining
What's
us
going on?
is two of the dopest brothers that I know. I've been knowing them for a minute. Started a podcast that they call the Super Weapon Podcast. It's pretty dope. You should check it out. They are Darius the artist, aka Darius Johnson. You can call him DJ, but he's brand new now, so he's Darius the artist. And also, my man at the bottom right, looked like he just pledged Omega Psi Phi till he died. You know what I'm saying? My man Lango Payne, aka DC the Misfit. Give it up
What's up, man? What's up, man?
for the Super Weapon Podcast boys.
What's
How
going
y'all
on?
doing, fellas? How y'all doing?
Doing good,
Good,
man.
man.
I mean, don't sound too excited. I mean,
Oh, I'm excited, man. Thank you. Thank you for inviting us on.
Oh, you
I feel
definitely.
like this was a long time coming, man. Definitely happy to be here. No, it's good
Okay.
to.
I ain't gonna lie. I'm trying to be cool.
You try to be cool.
He's.
I'm gonna get hype a little later, but I'm
I was
cool.
gonna say he's a little bit more exciting when we talk about video games and stuff.
You gotta read the room. That's all. You gotta read the room.
All right. So today, for y'all don't know that these brothers, the podcast, Super Weapon Podcast, focuses around video gaming. And I'm getting a message. I'm sorry, I got to silence my phone. Sorry about that. But in this day and age, video gaming has blown up, especially throughout the pandemic. Darius and I were talking about that before we got on air. That it's during the pandemic, it's really become prevalent. A lot of people have, shown that I'm a gamer, and since we were all separated, so to speak, it's really, really taken off. And to the point where people are going to college for this, big time sponsorships. So my two brothers here jumped in and did their thing. And before we go any further, I would just want you to introduce yourselves and tell us who you are, background, and things like that. So you guys can decide who goes first.
I'm gonna let Darius take it away, man.
Oh yeah, sure, man. Like Linton said, man. First of all, thank you for inviting us on, man. This is definitely exciting to be here, man. It's always good to talk about gaming and stuff and kind of help open people's eyes and inform people a little bit more about the industry just in general. But a little background about myself, man. I'm from Georgia, born and raised. I met all three of these guys in college. Linton actually used to be my boss in my work study job.
Tell it. I wanted to clear that up, though, because people hit me up like, "Hey, you went to school with them? Because you a little older." I was like, "Nah, I was their boss."
No.
Yeah,
he was mine. I bugged him for about a year before he actually gave me the job.
Don't say it like that. Don't say it like that.
No, he was persistent.
I was persistent.
Persistent college kid looking to make it.
Yeah. But yeah, so I have a bachelor's of fine arts in game design.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess initially what really started for me, I've always been a fan and I've always had a passion for video games, even from a young age. It's always been something that I feel is a pretty good outlet, especially for people who might grow up in tough situations at homes. There's always a really good interaction with games, and I've been, like I said, I've been passionate about it since I was a kid. So much so that in 2018, I actually started making content on a website called Twitch.tv, which is a pretty big streaming website.
No, you saying it a little site. It's not that little anymore.
Yeah, it's the biggest. I always call the video game industry the biggest little secret. There's for as many people that know about it, there's so many more that don't. But yeah, Twitch is really the mainstay in streaming and content creation. And just like you said in the intro, with COVID and everyone being at home,
yep.
Everyone got really familiar with websites like Twitch and Zoom and just that entire that kind of community.
And that business took off too. Like just offering the offerings took off.
Yes. I mean, even when we were in college, man, I used to kind of like I followed quite a bit of the business of the game industry because I'm just interested. I'm just a curious person, when it comes to business in general.
Yep.
And I guess the podcast itself, the Super Weapon podcast, kind of started from honestly just me and DC just kind of talking one day, because we always have conversations about games that are coming out, stuff that we're excited about, things that may be happening, you know, rumors and secrets to say. It's just, that's always been a part of our everyday conversation. And I figured, you know, it was a good way to have that conversation with more people. You know, my main thing about content creation and why I love to do it is I get to interact with more people and talk about games. The stuff I like talking about anyway. So that's honestly the way it started. And we're currently, I think we recorded episode 73 yesterday.
Ooh, that's
so
is that, what are you on, season 1 or 2, or you just
we don't even do seasons. We just
working. We started out doing seasons, man, and then we just kind of, you know, we like that we have a sort of free flow structure to the podcast. You know, our biggest draw and our biggest thing with the podcast is we, you know, while we may report on news, we always try to break things down to explain things to people who may not be, you know, that core audience, you know, following every news story or thing that's happening in the industry. That's what we kind of like pride ourselves on, is having that good balance of conversation. You know, and we've kind of had that feedback from our community as well, because we do live stream the podcast every Saturday at noon on Twitch.
Go ahead and dig it up. Don't
live audience, baby.
Don't just slide it under. You know, we just do it Saturday when we stream the podcast.
We do it every Saturday, man, and we release the audio version on Wednesdays. But yeah, that's a pretty much a background on me, man. I'll let my co-host and compatriot have the floor, man.
Yep. Well, everybody know me as DC the Misfit. You know what I'm saying? The bridge builder, wall destroyer. That's why I always got on my I'm always war ready, baby.
Which walls do you destroy?
Hey man, you know, the walls that hold people back, my brother. You know?
Okay. Them walls. Okay.
Yeah, those walls, man.
Not the sweet ones. Okay.
I forgot where we was at. Okay, you got me. Good one. But yeah, man, just to throw a little bit out there, I am originally from Detroit, East Side, 6 Mile. Gotta say it all.
Give it up for that, man. You and Eminem. All right.
No, that's he beyond the pond. I'm in the trenches, man. You know.
Ooh, okay.
We love them in the city, man. But
I feel you.
I've called Atlanta, Georgia, my home for the past 15 years. Atlanta, Georgia has been sweet to me here, man. I can't complain. Only thing I could complain about is traffic, man.
I knew that was coming.
Yeah.
You know, this podcast is like my baby. You know, we've been talking about this for, I want to say, before we started the podcast, we was talking about it for about roughly 3 years, man. It was like 3 years in the making. And it was a kind of a little bit of a hesitation, because when we were talking about it, podcasts was kind of fresh in the industry. Like, people wasn't really into the podcast scene. And I was explaining to Darius, I was like, man, we need to get on this, man. It's going to be something. People are looking for different avenues of entertainment, and I always thought it was dope that, you know, you can listen to someone with informative knowledge about just about anything people want to talk about. So we brainstormed for quite a minute, and then we just jumped out there. We got tired of all the what ifs, and then we was like, you know what, we don't have the equipment, we don't have this, but you know, let's just jump out there. So I mean, it started with a Yeti mic, a crappy camera, and a dream, and we had so many like growing pains, and we just kind of worked through it. And it's totally different from what it was. Like, I listen back to the old episodes and I'm like, oh my God, I sound like trash. But you know, it's still growing, man. We get new equipment. We're constantly trying to improve it. And you know, in this space, you really, really, really have to be like that, because there's so many podcasts. There's so many people trying to do this. And it's like, you have to take pride in what you do, man. So we are here now, and I just want to thank you for inviting us to the illustrious podcast. And we appreciate it, man. We appreciate it. We all go back. I'm not going to even tell the story, but we were all in college together, you know.
Okay. Oh, yeah. We all were in college together. Like Darius said, y'all was in college. I was your boss.
Is that a running joke
He wasn't my boss. He was
I was your boss, but I might as well be because I would say this. When I started working there, like when I first like walked in and I saw the atmosphere of the school, for full disclosure, they were students at Art Institute of Atlanta in the Decatur campus, and I started there as the head of IT support. And I walked in and I was told by the head of the campus, his name Monty, a cool dude. He hired me, so I give him shout outs to that. He was like, "Hey man, there's a lot of students, and so we're trying to get somebody in here to kind of like, galvanize the students and to relate to the students." And I was like, "Okay, I didn't get it." So I was like, "All right." So then my first day, I walk in and I was like, I saw Darius, I saw Lango, I saw Mike, I saw a plethora of African American students, and I was like, "Aha!" you need somebody to relate to those guys, and I know. But honestly, when I would came out, you guys stood out to me. Like, I'm gonna be full honest now. Like, sometimes you got after some things that happened in my life, I've been like, yo, I gotta give people their flowers and let them know how important they are in my life and the significance of them in my life. When I walked in, you guys stood out. Like, you guys kind of like people like Darius was like the rock star. The ladies loved him. You know what I'm saying? Lango was just that dude. I was scared of Lango at first, and then when they said his name was Lango, like
most people were.
I don't understand why people were scared.
It was close to Debo, so I was like, "Oh no, he looked like he knocked you out." And then Michael was just a pretty boy. So what's the name? And I was like, you guys really truly showed me that, as young black men, you guys were serious about when you told me you all went to gaming. And I'm the majority of the people at Art Institute in Decatur were gaming, fashion design students, and some photography. So just seeing you guys, I had never seen that many black gaming students because I was at the other campus in Dunwoody and it was predominantly white. So when I saw the majority of the students, a lot of you guys were into the gaming and the game art design, and you guys were just hustling and working hard. So I said, "Oh, I get it, Monty. I'm gonna try to be there for the people." And like Darius said, he bugged me for a year, but it wasn't because he bugged me. It was like I didn't have an opening.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. But I told him, I was like, "Yo, I see you. I see people listen to you, so I'm gonna hire you." So when the time came, he jumped on board and he became my lead dude. So it was like, "Darius, if I ain't here, you handle things. So don't mess up." You know what I'm saying? He used to go get me my what's that, the American Deli.
The American Deli.
Chick-fil-A, everything, man.
Chick-fil-A, man.
Yeah, so
store runs.
Getting, you know what I'm saying? So I appreciate you for that. So I remember listening to you guys, and I follow you guys. I've been watching from the beginning. I be in the shadows. I watch a lot of people's podcasts, and I remember you guys talking about, and I think you discussed this, or you talked about it on your Instagram. There's a photo of you guys, and you said this is the moment when we decided we're going to do the podcast. What was that moment, and why did? And I know you guys decided to do it, but what popped off in your head like, hey, we got to do it, and today is the day we decide we're going to do it?
Well, I'll take that away because it was on
my
Instagram. Of all places, we were down in Edgewood, like we were drinking and doing what people down there do. We was just kind of chilling, and I just remember we had like this conversation. I was just like, man, we got to do this, man, because there's no one else doing it. And the way I was trying to pitch it to Darius was, I was like, look, Atlanta is the mecca of a lot of things. We have music, we now have entertainment, all the film, the film industry is coming here to do their movies. I was like, we need to be a part of the gaming movement. Like, we need to spearhead that.
Is that the moment right there? That's the moment right there?
That's it right there. Oh yeah, we were totally like kind of drunk by that point, and we thought it was cool.
That's the famous Darius pose right there. Like if you go on their Instagram, you're gonna see that.
That's like Cash Money, I'm over there, I'm over there with the generic peace sign, you know what I'm saying?
I know. But Darius, that's your pose. Since I've known Darius, that's been his pose. But continue.
But yeah, we just had a real like moment. I was like, look, man, we can spearhead the gaming movement here in Atlanta. Like that's always been my thing. Like I wanted to be ahead of the curve when it came to that. And we're still networking and trying to piece things together to become like the outlet. Like when you come to Atlanta and people speak of Atlanta gaming, I want to be mentioned in the conversation. Like we do have esports here. I've been talking to my brother and he's like a executive over at Cox. and they formed they formed their e-league. So I want to be that person to connect with all these different people that's in the gaming sphere in Atlanta and create almost like a movement. And unfortunately, COVID has been kind of setting things back, but our whole goal is to maintain through COVID, do what we can. So eventually, when we get back right, we're going to hit the ground running. Like, I'm going to be out there in the streets. We're going to be at every tournament. Anything that comes through Atlanta, we want our hands in. And that was one of the major pieces to the Super Weapon podcast that we discussed. And Darius is the we like to call him the tactician, because Darius always he thinks 3 steps ahead when it comes to things. And like when I was running this by him, he was just like, I see what you're doing. I see. And for him to say that, I was like, okay. Because hey, Darius, he's a hard person to convince, because
I know
he's always thinking 2-3 steps ahead. And when he felt the idea, we just continued to build on that idea. And so here we are.
Definitely. Mikey, you want to go ahead?
Yes, I can say I've seen the journey. I've been a part of it, kind of, in a way. I've been in those discussions just while gaming, hearing them brainstorm. So it's awesome to see what it's grown to. I tell Darius all the time, like, bro, I've seen the progression, all the time, and he's modest. He plays coy.
I know he does. I mean,
but hey, I'm proud of you guys, man.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah, man, it's kind of like a lot of what DC said. It's I kind of feel like everyone who wants to do something or is passionate about something in their life, they arrive at a moment where they're like almost like a crossroads. You're like, either we're gonna do it now, or I'm gonna step off this path and just I'm gonna let it go forever. And back in 2018, there was a time where, like I said, I just decided to just get started, because you can try to wait for every condition to be perfect and met. You can try to get that perfect storm of stuff going before you get started, but by then 10-20 people will have passed you by in what you want to do. And for us, just like they just said, man, like, this is stuff that we talk about in casual conversation. This is I love to record the podcast every Saturday, because it's just something that it's almost like I look forward to it, because I get to talk to my friends about stuff I'm really passionate about. And
we talked about it before. It's almost like a stress relief kind of thing. Like, I've been all week, now I get to
absolutely, man. And I do got to take a second and give you your flowers and a shout out, man, because you definitely were someone who went to bat for a lot of the events we were able to hold at school. The tournaments, the 2K tournaments, the Street Fighter tournaments, the Marvel tournaments. And that's what I'll always say. And the thing I love about gaming is that it brings people together of a like mind and common goals, and that's the beauty of it. And that's what we seek to do, is spread a good and positive message that gaming is more than just the violence that people portray it is, or that your favorite politician want to portray. It's just it's so much more than that, man. It's
community, so to speak.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the big things I always will point people towards is all the charity organizations that work within the gaming space. And the millions of dollars that are raised every year for St. Jude Children's Hospital through gaming. I mean, it's there's many sides to this big coin, so to speak. And it's I find myself getting more and more excited every time that we record, or I know that I kind of get the same creative outlet with this as I would making like a 3D object or something, doing something art. It's a creative outlet, and there's always room that you see things that you want to improve. And my big thing is building a community of like-minded people, and we've kind of done that over the last couple of years, because I've been on 2 or 3 different streaming platforms for one reason or another.
Yeah.
But there's always been that core group of people that have followed us and come along with us. And it's really awesome to see, man. I encourage all the questions that you guys have. I know we kind of talked a little bit about some things before, but if I can help anybody that listens to this podcast or understand a little bit more about the game industry, then I feel like, job well done. That's my goal with this, and that's our goal every time we record. So,
okay. Well, speaking of questions, I myself, father of two, one of them being a 10-year-old young African American boy, definitely is. I was there at the birth and checked the DNA. Shout out to my wife. She ain't gonna like that, but anyways, so my son has been like into gaming. Like he took to it from the time he was young. Like I didn't even have anything to do with it. It started off as simple as I put the iPad in front of him and gave him a YouTube channel with some kiddie stuff. And next thing I know, I turn around and he's navigating through YouTube and he's found these things. So now he's elevated to the point where he's gaming online, but I put limits to things that he can do just as a father. So like the games like Fortnite and the role player games with the violence, I've said no. I'm gonna let you just do things for a 10-year-old. I know other people have done it, but it's just my decision. But I know he's getting to the point where he wants to get into that, and I don't want to stop him because he's gotten good at it.
Right.
So my asking to you guys is, as Black men in gaming, what has been some of the obstacles and the negatives, the pros and cons, so to speak, so I can start to look out for my son. Like, hey, this is definitely the pro. I know there's the pros, but what's some of the cons though? I know what to look out for, what to be aware of.
Man, I'll say the biggest one, the most obvious one that comes to my mind is that people on the internet are mean. They can be they can say some of the most heinous, vile things to you. And that I will say that introducing your son to that side of the game industry, you're kind of talking about, I'm guessing you're kind of talking about like content creation or him getting into maybe competitive gaming or
online, or even just simple as going online and
just playing online
and whatnot. You explain that to me. You're thrust in with whoever and you play with them, so you don't really know who you're playing against.
Yeah, so I will tell you there are some excellent parental controls in most modern games nowadays. That's the first thing I'll say. With online gaming, like my brother, for quite a while didn't let my nephew have a headset.
Yeah, I don't. Same thing.
So that I would give that advice. If you're kind of worried about them, because there are some, like I said, man, there are some vile, disgusting humans out here in the world, man. And in my mind, security and safety for your kids always comes first in that regard. So, like I said, there's some really great security features. So if you don't want him to talk to anyone, obviously the headset thing. Most games have like a mute the lobby, option or button, so you could, flip that on. That way he won't hear other people say, some mean things to him or.
Okay, so that's one of my questions. So that was going to be another one of my questions. Is there an option for him just to communicate to the people he knows, like in Fortnite, if you're on a team, I'm only communicating with people.
Group chat.
Yeah, most games have a pretty standard form of group chat. A very popular, because I'm assuming if he's going to be playing like on console or a tablet, just like you were telling me before, he could call, his cousin or his friends on the phone.
Roblox and things like
right.
Like that, safe things that I'm comfortable with.
Right. Yeah, you can use
that. I've seen some things within those in the chat feature. I didn't even know the chat was like that. And one time I pointed it out, and there was this person trying to lure him into a private chat, and I was like, my wife's like, stop.
Yes.
The thing people have to understand about Roblox, man,
it's
and I kind of blew my sister-in-law mind when I told her. I just actually looked it up before we got on the podcast. Roblox revenue last year was almost $1 billion. There's hundreds of millions of people playing that game every day. All ages, all walks of life.
And that's what floored me. I thought it was just a kid's game. Like,
yeah. I didn't. Like I told you, man, the video game industry is the biggest little secret you've Never heard of. But yeah, you know, when it comes to stuff like that, especially if you put them on like an Xbox or a PlayStation, you know, those consoles have parental controls where you can set certain parameters for them, you know, like you said, you know, until you feel more comfortable, you know, as he gets a little bit older, you know, if he wants, you know, if you want to allow him to play some of those games, you know, a lot of people should also look at game ratings. I know we don't really buy games in hard copies much anymore, but most games have, like, in the information section, you can look at the ratings and see what, you know, if it's rated teen, if it's rated M, or, you know, if it's rated E for everyone. It'll give you a pretty easy description to be able to identify if that game is like safe for your kid if you're not sure, you know, what type of game it is, because I'm pretty sure your kid knows before you do what kind of game they want to play nowadays. But
yeah,
that's just a few things from me. I don't know if DC has any that he wants to share, but those are just like the first ones that came to my head.
I get asked this question all the time, and I think one thing with kids in general, you just kind of gotta let them, you know, feel the room and just kind of support them a little bit from a distance.
okay.
As long as he has everything else in his life in balance, like if he's not just sitting on the game all day, he missing his chores, he getting bad grades in school. And I know you, so I know you're not letting that happen.
No,
But
you don't know my wife, but she definitely ain't letting that happen.
but if he can keep it all balanced, I say encourage him, get involved a little bit, because the gaming industry, it's fun, but at the same time, it can be very predatory, especially when it comes to children.
Yep.
Yes.
Unfortunately, you do have predators and stuff who kind of moonlight in these roadblock type of games as children and try to do creepy crap. And, you know, that's why I say monitor your kid. Like, don't be Snoopy. Go in there like, hey, what you doing, man? Get involved and, you know, show him that, you know, you're there for him if he has any questions or if anything suspicious may be happening. But just build that rapport with your child and kind of let them just do their thing, and they'll slowly kind of figure out what they want to do. Because I just talked to one of my brother friends. I talked to his kid about this, and he's in college though. He just started college and his grades wasn't that great because he was sitting in his dorm room all day playing Call of Duty. Now, the fact of the matter is, he's not that good. So, I mean, like, you got to pick a battle because I'm just being honest. You have to pick a battle. It's like you talking about you want to go pro, but your parent is paying for your college. So they're getting on him like, hey, we're going to bring you back home if all you're going to do is sit there and play games. There's a smart way to do it, and then there's that way to do it. Like, dude, if my parents were paying for my school, I'm all in them books. You know what I'm saying? And then that can be something on the side, because most people they have this fantasy about gaming. They think that you sit there and you just get ninja money. There's only a small percentage of people who are getting ninja money. If y'all don't know who Ninja is, he's one of like
I don't know. I've heard the name, but I don't understand.
He's one of the biggest earning people in our space. Like, he streams, he got like 650 sponsorships from, and he makes a lot of money. Yeah, he makes a lot of money from gaming. But what people don't understand is this dude has been gaming for
about 10 years he's been streaming. Yeah.
So a lot of people think it's an overnight thing. They jump in, oh, you know, I'm going to do this and that. I'm going to blow up in Call of Duty. And no, you're not. It's just like anything else. You got to put a lot of work into it.
The legwork.
And you got to get people who will support that dream. Like, if you're going to do it, you kind of got to go all the way in, and you got to have the support of people around you. Because one thing about the gaming industry, it's hard to do it by yourself. You can't, like, because, for example, me, I have 2 jobs, I podcast, I'm a casual game player. Yeah, I just play, have fun, and I leave it alone. We podcast, but I say all that to say this, like, just be there with your son, see where it goes.
Okay.
And you will make an informative decision. Like, now, if he just really good, like if you see him playing Halo or something, and smoking people boots, you might want to think about it. Like, okay, then you may want to bring him further into the world, start showing him videos of different esport teams, and try to see how you can reach out to them to get, because they do like recruitment. It's almost like sports. Like they're looking for like FaZe Atlanta. They're looking for the next best Overwatch player or the next best Halo player. They're always scouting. So it's just all about research, seeing what your kid likes, and being realistic, honest with him. Now, if he's not that good, like, hey son, you know,
there's no
it's a nice little casual thing for you here, but you know.
And the thing is, my son, like, as a parent, every parent is amazed by their child, but a lot of things he's doing, I have nothing to do with. So, like, even when he started playing things as, what's the other one with the creepers, Darius? I keep forgetting.
Minecraft.
Minecraft. He wanted to play that, so I got it for him on Xbox, and I just let him be. I have no clue.
Man,
I go back to Mortal Kombat, Zelda, Mario Brothers, Nintendo, Sega Genesis.
Well, let me ask you
And
this.
of my gaming on Xbox is 2K. Like anybody, like Mike will tell you, you look at my history, it's all 2K. From 2000, it's all 2K. Might be a little Madden thrown in there because when we were at CAU, shout out to them, Clark Atlanta University. Me and my homeboys, we did that. We didn't have online gaming, so we just gathered as a group.
Yeah.
We played games.
Good old days.
Drank some.
Good old days, man.
Deuce, smoked the Black and Mild, and we just played. It was fun. So my son, he amazed me when he all of a sudden he's like, "Dad, this is how you do this." I'm like, "How are you figuring out to do this? There's no instructions." We used to get the games and it had the instructions, and nowadays them games don't even come with instructions. So I don't know how he's doing it. So
well, there's in-game tutorials for most.
I was gonna say that. Yeah, the thing nowadays,
they put it all in the game.
I mean, everything's I like to call it like interactive media.
The YouTube thing, if you watch YouTube to play the game, weird to me.
You have YouTube. You have just like DC was saying. There's some really intuitive tutorials. I mean, you think about kids nowadays having tablets in front of them. You know, at the age that they do, they're picking up stuff a lot quicker than we did, growing up. And it's it's just a really interesting thing to see so much growth in this industry, and it's continuing to explode. And out of a lot of places, a lot of different industries, the gaming industry just kept growing. It's continuing to grow even during the pandemic. I mean, you couldn't find a Xbox controller on a Target shelf in anywhere for like 8 months. Like it was.
You couldn't find an Xbox.
You can find. I mean, even with the new gen consoles that just came out last year, there's still you still have trouble finding those, or you're gonna pay an extra amount of money to get one.
My brother was doing the same thing with my nephew. He wanted the S or whatever.
The Xbox Series S, yeah.
Like it's normally like $350 whatever retail, but people bought them up, and now they're trying to sell them for $800.
They're scalping them, yeah. And it's crazy, man. And that's something that we as far as like the obstacles being black men in the gaming industry. We just had a conversation about something that's been going on Twitch for the last couple of weeks called hate raids, where so if you're a streamer and I'm about to end my stream, I can send my community over to your channel. It's usually like a kind gesture. Typically larger streamers will raid smaller streamers just to kind of help them get a little bit of exposure. You're introducing them to more people essentially.
Okay.
So, the reverse of that, people are using scripts like web scripts called bots to have bots raid your page with a bunch of fake accounts.
So explain that. A raid.
So like, let's say if I have 1,000 people watching me
and I'm playing right now.
Yeah. And I'm about to get offline and he has 10 people watching him.
First of all, Lango, I love the
I'm playing the game.
He's a smaller streamer. I'm a big guy on Twitch. I'm like, you know what? I see this guy. He looks like a nice guy. I'm gonna send all 1,000 people of my community that's watching me now over.
So it's not like a determined thing. You're just deciding.
No, so yeah, when you're streaming live, it's all live. So people are watching you play the games live. You're interacting with your community live. It's all happening in real time.
Okay.
Which is the big draw of Twitch versus like YouTube, where you'll have like pre-made videos. Editing. You'll edit your videos. You'll upload them.
Okay.
People can watch them and comment on it. But with streaming, you're playing, like I'm playing the game live, and people are watching me do cool or funny stuff.
Okay.
Which is, that kind of stark difference that I really like about streaming. Because like I said, you get to have conversations with people about the things that you enjoy. And if I'm playing, the latest Call of Duty, I get to talk to people who are who might be playing the same game. And it's a good way to build a community, because you can do stuff like play with people in your community. It's just like you were saying, kids love watching other people play games. It's like a form of reality television, if you want to look at it like that.
Yeah, I realized that. I didn't know it was a thing. My son would just be watching people play games, and I didn't discourage it. I was like,
no.
I kind of understand. It's like me back in the day listening to somebody on the radio, or listening to just like a mixtape or something. You're following the person.
I mean, and it's to touch on the charity aspect. Like I said, there's a lot of big charity events that go on Twitch. One of the biggest ones, and it happens maybe 2 or 3 times a year, is called AGDQ, or a game done very quick. And it's basically guys who play video games and try to beat them as fast as they can. They're called speedrunners. Doing this, people watch and they donate to charitable causes. Like I say, one of the biggest ones in gaming is St. Jude's Children's Hospital. There's a bunch of other organizations. I can pass them along to you, Linton. And you want to put them in the podcast description after. People just want to check them out, and if you're just curious about the stuff that goes on.
Definitely. Awesome, man. Ask any question you want to ask.
Well, before we go any further, we just got to shout out the fact that man Fresco just joined the podcast. Shout out.
All good, brother.
You know what I'm saying? He just got a write up in the voice. Is it the Village? You know what I'm saying? The Village website. So shout out to Fresco. He just joined. You know what I'm saying? New line dropping in the fall. We had to bring him in the podcast. He goes back with us to our Artist Institute days. So he's part of the crew. This is a reunion special, so to speak. So just had to shout out. But like I was saying, Lango, like one of my other questions was going to be, hey, like, okay, me and Darius kind of touched on this, the monetization. Don't laugh. The monetization of your business. Like, how does someone go about monetizing in the gaming industry? I know you can stream and whatever, but how does it happen, and what are the steps, if there are any?
You basically, that's why the word community is thrown around a lot.
Okay.
Because you have to build your community. Like with streaming, your community, when you first start Twitch, you can't really monetize just yet.
No.
They have stipulations that you have to meet before people could start donating money to you or subscribing to your channel. And once you hit that, then people could start subscribing. There's 3 tier levels. You could subscribe for $5 a month. I think it's like 15, 20.
10 and 20.
10 and 20?
Yeah, it's 5, 10, and 20.
So that's one of the major ways on Twitch that you make your income. And obviously, the more people you have in your community and the more people you can get to sub, the more money you're going to make that month. That's just one way. But with content creators as a whole, I just think you have to be yourself and be a likable person, because I think people can tell when you're not being authentic, especially on Twitch. Like you can tell when people are just, faking the funk, so to speak. But with Twitch, it's a grind and time game. Basically, you have to put in the work and be consistent. One of the biggest things in this game, content creating, streaming, whatever, you have to be consistent, because people need to know where they can find you. Like people know Darius is going to be on this day, this day, this day. This is when I can tune in.
Okay.
So they're used to that. And you have to communicate with people. If you're going to change your schedule, you have to let it be known. We use a program called Discord. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Discord, but Discord is where the community can meet once Darius is off the stream, and they can talk, and he can let them know, hey guys, I'm not going to be on Friday, but I'll be on early Saturday. So consistency, communication, and you just got to understand mentally. You have to have a mental understanding that this is not an overnight game. Even with podcasting, the same thing. Once we get enough listeners, then the sponsors will come.
Okay.
Because they'll be like, oh, super weapon. Everybody's talking about super weapon. What is this super weapon? You have people like Slim Jim. Like a lot of people are trying to dig their roots into gaming. So you have weird sponsorships come up to you. Like Darius, remember the one we had? Which one was it? Generic Manscaped. This guy was writing us like, yo, we have these ball shaving clippers. We would love if you guys sponsored us. And I'm like, that's not really our brand.
You didn't go to Manscaped?
No, man.
It was a generic, like, it was like a knockoff version. It was like more.
Oh, okay.
It was like lawnmower balls or something like that. Like, they kept writing me, and a guy actually reached out to me, and I was like, we discussed some things, and I was like, me personally, I have a little integrity. I can't rep something I don't use, really. Like, I'm not going to sit up here and be like, oh, this is the greatest thing ever. Like, I never did this in my life. But to go back to podcasting, once you build like basically your rep and people start listening to you, your numbers go up. That's why I'm always in analytics. Sponsors will see that. And then, like I said, everyone's trying to put their foot into the gaming world. So, man, you can have Third Degree deodorant, Slim Jim, Snickers. People will start reaching out to you like, hey, can you post this in the background? Or like, this why I got my, my little promotion.
So you already got sponsorship?
No, we working on some things.
Okay,
this is just an example,
Oh, just an example.
Like, we see the product placement. We see it.
And that's all they'll want sometimes. Sometimes, like, they'll just be like, hey, can you put this in the background?
Okay.
Or can you, I know you guys seen on like a lot of shows where they'll stop in the middle of their podcast, like, hey guys, we talk about the reader, blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
Advertisements.
So long story
you see that shirt he got on?
Yeah, advertisement.
Yeah, sponsorship. Yeah.
Wait. Okay, man, you just gonna come in the podcast and take over?
Hey, man, I'm just saying.
Okay, but it is sponsorship. So Micah, my chest is bare. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't.
But you see this though.
Back to back Dallas.
I'm just saying.
I was an infant when that was going on.
Mm-hmm. But continue, Lango. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
That's just to sum it up, man. That's certain ways that people in the content creation space get paid, man. It's basically you have to gain a following, and then the money will come.
Okay.
Once your content get up there, they'll come.
What people got to understand about content creation and streaming, the first thing I want to tell people that it is an incredibly saturated market to jump into, and there is a high chance that you may not ever make it. You may not ever get seen, no matter how good your content is. I always want to start out with that disclaimer, because people see people like Ninja, Nick Merckx, a lot of those big guys who are making this big money, and think that all you got to do is hit the go live button and the money's going to come to people.
Trust me, I know that.
When I first started streaming, I had like one, maybe two people watching me. Sometimes I was talking to myself, narrating what's going on the game and stuff for hours on end. I mean, it's definitely a hard field to want to get into. And just as far as like business and money and stuff, if you get to it, first thing I would tell people is just try it out for a while, see if you really like it, man, because it's a really big investment to buy the equipment you may need, the stuff that I acquired over time,
but it's affordable. It's not expensive in the overall scheme, but
right.
But it's still an investment.
It's definitely an investment, man. And sometimes you won't see that return on investment for a very long time. You know, my biggest thing I always tell people who are interested, because I even have people who come from my community who might shoot me a message like, hey man, I'm thinking about streaming. You know, what do you think? You know, and the first thing I always tell people is like, have fun with it. You know, you can't come into this thinking, I'm going to do this to make money. You know, I want to do this to do that. But that's the first thing I tell people, man. But just like he spoke on to you know, anything from subs, tips, sponsorship deals, things like that you can get over time. But the one thing I would tell people, man, is just focus on making good content, because you know, we live in this age where people have this 2-second memory. You know, they see something funny, laugh, swipe, gone. So with content creation and you know, streaming in particular, you know, it's like what kind of value are you bringing to Twitch as a platform, you know, to your community to make people want to come and watch you? Because it's just like I said, it's just like watching TV. You know, either you're gonna, you know, play on things that you're good at. You know, are you a funny person? You know, are you really good at fighting games? Are you really good at shooting games? Are you really good at sports games? That kind of stuff will drive traffic to your platform.
Okay.
And another thing that helps with monetization, as well as like DC was saying, analytics, is posting clips of your streams. You know, posting on multiple websites. You know, one thing I'm getting really big into is TikTok now, because gaming on TikTok is blowing up actually pretty big right now. It's actually pretty crazy, and I wish I would have paid more attention to it 2 years ago. But TikTok is definitely blowing up. YouTube is a good avenue because it gives you that, like I said, that produced video kind of content.
Okay.
You know, the kind of stuff I typically like watching on YouTube is more like breakdowns and discussions of things. And I find that stuff fits better over there versus like a live format like Twitch, where, like I said, you can tune in for various reasons. You know, I watch anything from pro players to people who do charity stuff to people I might just think are funny or, you know, entertaining. But it's really all about like finding your own voice in the industry. Like I said, there at any given point a few million people streaming on Twitch every day. That's not an exaggeration. That's just a fact. Like, how are you planning on standing out from the millions of other voices? You know, how do you get somebody to click on your page?
Okay.
But yeah, that's. I mean, I could go on all
So
day.
in a nutshell, man, you got to do work. Like
It's hard work, man.
They fantasize it because it's games. They hear
Sometimes
video
you gotta have a
games
bad
and they
stream.
think it's fun.
And I
But
think it's because they just see the successes. They don't, and
yeah,
kind of framed as if, oh, all you got to do is get on there and start.
No,
you're
it's
gonna
a 9 to 5, man. It's literally a 9
I'll
to 5.
I'll give you a perfect example. You know, like I told you, it's live interaction, you know, all real time. I was having audio issues for like a month straight.
Oh,
I'm talking like I would spend 30, 45 minutes on stream trying to fix audio and stuff. And I turned it into a game, man. I started, you know, every time I fix one thing and something else broke, I'd be like, all right, guys, we on audio level 2. It's time to fix this, you know, and people, you know, get the community to interact and laugh at those points, you know, because it's all about, like I said, keeping those eyes on you, keeping that attention.
IT, man.
Yeah.
You're your own IT guy.
Yeah, you know, those are things you have to think about.
Man, didn't I teach you? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, shout out to Lynn, man. Hey, I wouldn't have made probably would have been streaming if it weren't for you, man. Shoot.
Dude, we got episodes of the podcast on the cutting room floor that we canceled because the audio sounded so bad. I was like, dude, we can't use this.
Bad audio can ruin imagery, man. Like, you could look as good as one, but when the audio is bad, something about it. Like, if the audio is good and the video's bad, you can deal with it.
Yeah.
But once that auditory goes away, like, you're like,
you hit the nail on the head, man. That's definitely a big one. Like if I'm browsing through Twitch and I click on somebody's stream and I get on there and all they doing is like yelling, screaming or something, I'll click off the page quick. You know, or if they're having audio issues and I can't really understand them, well, time to go to somebody else. That's just the society we live in. So you really only have a couple of seconds to catch someone's attention on Twitch, and keeping it is even more difficult. You know, a lot of times people think, you know, because just like DC was saying, you know, there's a couple of different you can become an affiliate with the website, which essentially makes you an independent contractor where you can get that sub button. Revenue is usually split 50%. So, you know, someone will sub to you for $5, Twitch will keep $2.50.
Oh, okay.
And you also have to pay taxes on this money. That's one thing I will tell people as well. If you
taxes
get into this and you start making money, the government wants their cut. There is no taxes taken out of tips and donations when they're given to you. So once you, it's just like with freelancing. You know, you guys have all freelanced. Once you make a certain threshold, you have to take a little bit off the top to give to the government. So that's something else that
Uncle Joe want his money, man. Uncle Joe want his money.
I mean, no dental plan, people.
Just there's not really any medical. I mean, this industry has only been around for about 10 years, so you don't really have that kind of stuff. So if you're a full-time, you know, you're a dad who's a full-time streamer that has kids, you know, you might not necessarily be able to get insurance for them. You might have to get through, you know, through your partner's job. Those are the types of things that people should be aware of. You know, it's not just I'm gonna get on, go live, I'm gonna play 2K, I'm gonna have 100 people watching me every night. You know, it's sometimes you'll get 0. That, you know, you get a couple of them streams, man, and start messing with your head a little bit. You like, man, maybe I shouldn't be doing this. I probably suck. You know, it's just
but it's
ugly.
Yeah, it's like, you got to put in that legwork. I mean, my background, like with Mike and I starting this, it's like I know it's going to be tough, but I came up in college radio where my what's the name, my circle and the radius of what the radio station could reach was just the campus. But even within the campus, you sometimes be broadcasting to one person. Yeah, and that person would be requesting songs all night. So I got into this. I was like, yo, I know the grind. I know the grind. You know what I'm saying? But speaking of grind, before going any further, I would be remiss if I didn't talk to my man Fresco and talk about how things are going now, because somebody dropped the 4 line of, and I know the Super Weapon Brothers got a sponsorship deal because my man Omega Side Brothers, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I want to incorporate you into this because you are part of our community. You're part of our, you know, our family right here, because you fellas came up together, and I'm proud to say that all of you have created something after college. And the new 4 line of the brothers clothing line it was a sneak peek put out on the internets. You know what I'm saying? And I want to know, is there going to be a 3-4X line? Because I'm on the I'm not Lango here. I'm not comfortable being schmedium. You know what I'm saying? So
not like we definitely gonna expand, you know what I'm saying, as we grow. Like early on, you know, trial and error, we went through a lot of like testing different sizes and seeing what the demand was. So like, you know, me and you talked about this personally. You know, we used to do 3Xs. You know, sometimes we'll reach out to our customers and, you know, show them little previews like, hey, you know, I know you wear a bigger size, but you want this, and we could do that because we was on such a small scale. Like we communicate with everybody in our DMs, anybody who has a question like about brothers clothing or got some suggestions, they can always just like, you know, DM us because we try our best to respond. So like we definitely did some trial errors with like, you know, running 3Xs and 4Xs, and people weren't buying them at first. But, you know, I couldn't really, you know, I'm not saying I was shocked that nobody was buying it, you know, as small as we are, but you know, with us growing and reaching all these people, like we was gaining an average of 200 followers a month since February. So, with that, you know, we had to, you know, up the ante a little bit because, you know, we ordered a lot of pieces, you know what I'm saying? So we put a lot of money in this fall line. But like I said, going back to the 3X thing, we are trying to, you know what I'm saying, expand in our, you know, our reach to every customer. So you definitely will see a 3X from here on out.
Definitely, and I'm just joking.
I know,
but I'm just super proud. Like that 4 line, I saw the thing drop, and I was like,
colors, man.
What? I might have to get that jogger. You know what I'm saying? That look high.
Yeah. You know, put a little creativity in it. You know what I'm saying? But go ahead.
Now, I'm gonna buy it even though I can't fit in it.
You always buy. I appreciate Mango, man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, got the hat. You
look,
know, my head
he's
for the hat,
sponsored.
but you know.
Yeah, he sponsored all throughout, all on Super Weapon with the brothers on.
Okay, Michael, you know what that means for us. That we you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, you know, that's next. I told you, I'm waiting on my chain. I'm waiting on the chain. I'm waiting on the rock chain. You know.
Once we get to like 100,000 followers or something, I might get you a chain made.
You know what I'm saying?
We got work to do there, Michael. We gonna get
Man, let's do it.
But you know, we on the up and up, so you know, I'm being patient with it.
Okay, and before I go, I mean, I was joking about it earlier, but you're right up in the Atlanta. Is it
the Voyage?
The
Voyage ATL, yeah.
How did that come about? How did that come about? Because that's big time.
Actually,
you started.
Yeah, actually, my business partner, one of his friends suggested or referred us, you know, through them, and then they contact us, and I guess they do their due diligence, because from what I heard, they don't just accept like everybody.
No, they don't.
Like they want to see how legit you are, and if you're doing your part and carrying your business as far as like growing every day, you know, posting content every day. So I guess they like what they saw, and they hit us with an email. We responded. You know, we was going back and forth about a week, and you know, it happened. It happened that fast. Like I didn't expect it, but yeah, it happened, and that was dope.
I was really proud of that. I've seen that because I know I had a couple other friends I know who've gotten on there, and I know to get in there, it's not like round robin. They just throwing everybody in there. You got to be serious. So
the
fact that people are seeing the quality, because as I can see by looking at you right now, you know what I'm saying, the new line, you know what I'm saying,
man.
You don't understand how
clean. See the stitching?
That looks comfortable,
man.
You don't realize
look like one of them.
put together outfits right now, because if you don't realize, I'm seeing this, and I hope people see this, that the hat accents the shit. So that means they went into this with the thought pattern is, we have certain hats and we have certain styles and colors. We need to produce garments that person could just put on the whole outfit. So you can have the ATL hat matching with the offsetting. What is that? Is that baby blue? Is that sky blue?
Steel blue.
Steel blue. I didn't even know there was steel blue.
I didn't.
There is a steel blue.
So I name all the colors.
So you create all the colors?
Yeah, like it may come with a color already attached to it, but I'd be like, nah, I don't like that name. I need something a little more that ties in with the brand. And as far you know what I'm saying, so I every color you see named on the site, I picked it.
Okay,
and I ran it across my partner, and we just went.
That's going on right here. Like
appreciate it.
The off gray with the with steel blue and the gold chain, off the chain. Off the chain.
That's nice.
Appreciate it.
That's great. Michael, you go ahead. What you got to say?
All right. So I guess since we know we're talking about, you know, details and things like that, I thought about color theory automatically.
Yeah,
and stuff time back into school. It's like everything, every experience we all have gone through, it is coming into fruition in what we're doing now.
Definitely.
You know, every small detail.
True.
Because I know Corey, I just off conversations, I know how he is about like the sound of things. He wants it to roll off the tongue. So he didn't want a normal color, a base color. He wanted steel blue. You know, I didn't even know that was a blue.
I didn't know either.
Blue, but I didn't know you actually.
Yeah.
I didn't know how that was going to transfer to clothing. Like I knew that was a color.
Yeah.
But the way you finessed it, like.
But that goes back to the whole thing we talk about, like Darius was mentioning, is your branding, baby. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't just come out here and say blue.
You can tell they take pride in it.
You steel blue, because that goes along with the brothers' clothing. Like, brothers ain't just going to be, hey, we got blue, we got gray.
Yeah.
Like, sell you the whole fit. Like, so you wake up, and I bet you in his head, he's probably thinking, what we're going to start doing is we're going to start like curating outfits. So that means he's going to give you the hat, the shirt, and probably the joggers. I don't know if he has the joggers on. Do you got the joggers on?
I got a pair of the shorts on, but it's like a different color.
Yeah, but because you know he's from East Atlanta, that's how they do. So I bet you if I know Corey, and I might be giving him some info, I bet you what he's going to start doing is like, hey, on the website, if you put the outfit together like this, like how they do with wine when you eat food,
I definitely thought about like being a curator. Yep. Yeah, I definitely thought being a curator online, like you don't have to wear it exactly how I present it. You can, I can set it up and you can be like, oh, I didn't know you would put that with that. Oh, that looks nice. So, I used to do that at Detail Law. I worked in fashion for
that's where I came from. I ain't forget where you worked at. I knew what you did there. So I know Corey thinking about that already.
Definitely. And like with the whole like the like coming up with the colors. I get that. I stole that from the sneaker game. Like I seen how people don't even call the shoe what it really is. Like they won't say, oh, let me get those number 11 Jordans. They were like, let me get the Concord. So a certain color and a certain name stuck with a product more than the actual name of the actual product. So I was like, okay, because when we get like questions from customers and stuff like that, I already know what they're talking about based on the color that I came up with. I don't have to go back and look through an archive of like orders to be like, okay, I know we dropped like 5 blue shirts. Which blue shirt they talk? Oh, you talking about the steel blue or you talking about the orchid blue? And if I say, oh, they'd be like, yeah, I bought the orchid. I know exactly where to go. It's easier for me to navigate in my system, you know what I'm saying, to find whatever I need to find too. So I kind of took that from the whole like sneaker game.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, Linton, I think you're
medium, baby.
Audio. I think you're muted, Linton.
Not bad, fellas.
Yeah. Audio. We just talked about
audio. Yeah, sure did.
I hit the mute button. I hit the mute button on the mixer. Normally I don't do that. But what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying. I know what Corey's doing, and that's what I'm proud to say that with you fellas, that you guys are detail oriented. You're not just people who play the games, who are going to go out there and put images on a T-shirt and try to sell you. Like I know for Corey, this is a lifestyle. I know for Darius and Lango, it's a lifestyle. Same thing with Mike. It's a lifestyle. Like I'm not just selling you something. The brand is me, and this is me on the daily. So whatever you see is me. So I want the flowers for that. So
appreciate it.
So what I want to get into next right now, it's just a little trip down memory lane.
Hold on. How far are we going down?
Because
there's some things I can't talk about.
Oh, you can censor yourself, so that you can edit yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, because we all know.
So now, I remember
Darius stupid.
When I first got to the school, I know Corey was the man. So Lango was doing his thing. Lango was booed up. Darius and Micah, like they were like, off to themselves. Darius was in and out doing his thing. Started working for me.
Micah was a mysterious character.
Micah would show up. He had what did Micah push? The Chevy,
the Blazer.
The Blazer, like
man. One time for Bertha. That was Bertha. Now,
like
R.I.P.
Like that's what they push out there. Nothing but Chevys. So I was thinking, because I know when I started, I found out later on, like a lot of people was like, Linton, I don't like him. And I'm like, damn, bro, like what did I do to you? I want to know, what was your first impression of me, and I'll do the same for you. So whoever wants to lead off.
Oh man, I thought you were,
okay. Go ahead.
I thought you were just kind of like another old black dude from around the way, man. Like, dude, I ain't even gonna sit here and lie, man. Like, I think the first conversation we had, I think you said something funny. Because there was what was the guy who used to work? Wasn't it Jesse? Creeper. That's who it was, man.
Who was that?
I don't remember.
The guy who was
before me. He was head of IT support before me.
Yeah.
I
just thought you were a little bit of a jerk, man. I'm not gonna lie. But then, like, when I started getting interested in working in work study, I mean, to be quite honest and blunt, the cage was the best place to work, in my opinion.
Bro, what? Where?
But that's just my honest opinion. I'll leave it at that. I'm not gonna go on a tangent.
Okay, go ahead. All right.
I'm gonna roll into it. I can kind of agree with Darius. I was like, man, this dude an asshole. But I was like, over time, I'm like, bro, he just like me, bro, but he just older.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't like people who like me. But I'm like, he was one of the coolest dudes once I got to know him, hands down, besides y'all and like, a few others, one of the coolest dudes I ever met at the school. Like, he was the whole reason I even started going to the cage. You won't see me at no cage unless I was printing paper. Now I'm up at the cage, every time just to hang out with Linton and y'all. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, yeah, coolest dude ever.
Who knows? Because once y'all done, I'm coming back. Like,
ooh, I'm scared, bro.
Let me go ahead and get out the way then. Let me go ahead and go.
Off. I might hop off.
I need to leave the call real quick.
I know every time I used to run into him, he used to be like, what is he going to say? Is he going to say something?
He going to say something, bro.
What he's going to say? Because I used to not talk much.
Oh,
so I used to be like,
I know.
And he used to just wait for me to say something.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Like, what you need, bro? What you need?
He did,
but,
bro.
We was cool, and we used to just chop it up about sports too. That's just he would see my hat or something like that. He used to ask me, but it was pretty light. He wasn't jerk to me, but.
And then this lingo.
He had to pray before he got on. Go ahead.
I saw the hands. I was like,
the first time I saw Linton, he made a comment.
Did Linton?
What did he say? He was like, because I had my dreads wasn't that long, and I had like the headband pulled back. It was like, he was like, dude, you look like you fresh out.
Yeah.
That's your first comment. That's the first comment.
Right?
Wow.
But I respect Linton because I looked at him and I sized him up, and he didn't buck down. Like, he sized me up.
He said what he said.
It was kind of a mutual respect. I was like, oh, I see where this guy coming from. And it was just funny because I think we all, like, our first impressions of Linton was kind of like an asshole. But it was the same with the rest of y'all. Like,
I don't know why.
Once I got to know Linton, like, he always looked out, man, and like, you can't never take that from him.
No,
and he like, the cage was. I remember he used to let me come back there and do my like homework or whatever.
Yep.
Same here. Kick it, even if we wasn't supposed to necessarily be back there because we didn't work there. He'd just be like, "Oh, come to the back where they can't see you."
Right
over here and just chill. Y'all got to be quiet though, because he'd be back there roasting people and he laughing. But see what he was laughing at. So,
but to add to that, though,
he's a solid dude, man.
To add to that, he only did it if he rocked with you.
Yeah, exactly.
If he didn't talk to you, he probably didn't care about you at all. So
he would just stop laughing immediately.
It came from a good place, though.
Yeah, it came. Yeah, definitely.
It's like a big brother. It's like a big brother.
I knew we was cool when you started letting me print for free. Then we used to have to pay for that. Or was it free?
Yeah. Oh yeah. No.
When I started getting free prints,
the statute of limitations is off.
I said, "This is my guy." Like,
you weren't supposed to print for free, but the statute of limitations is over. So yeah,
they got big problems and worry about printing paper right now.
Yeah, they definitely got more to worry about. All that stuff they stole.
Yeah, they got a lot more to worry about. So, and here's the deal. So when I first got there, right, there was you remember Rizzy? She's doing her thing in North Carolina. She's doing a lot of holistic stuff and whatnot. She started. Matter of fact, she just opened. She had just got her own like office space to do her like holistic healing and
nice.
She's doing a lot of good things. She was identified as the leader of the students, so they were like, "Linton, you go in there and shut that down."
Damn, FBI agent.
Yeah, because they were like, she's got these students, like she can cause like sit-ins and riots and whatnot. So she's too powerful. So they sent me in like I was homeboy in that what's the thing with about the Black Panthers where it's like Judas and the Messiah.
Judas and the Messiah.
I was like, what up? Are you sending me in here as a double agent? So I went in, I got to meet Rizzy, and I was like, okay, I understand. And there was Lavoris, rest in peace to him. And she had personality and charisma, but I was like, okay, I'm not coming here to Like, because I've seen there's a lot of black students, but I understand why she was doing it. So I was like, I just want them to know that, listen, this is not going to be a fight. I'm here to help you guys. Like, in essence, like I have access to things that can help you. So I don't want to turn it into us against you. I want it to be, how can I help you guys get to, you know what I'm saying? How, what wait a minute, my wife? That's when I first met you. How my wife gonna say this? You know, but she ain't wrong. She ain't wrong. She did the story for another time. But I was like, yo, I'm here to help you guys, and I want you to understand that. And me coming up with the people that I know if I'm jonesing with you and I take my time out to tease with you because I'm just trying to create, you know, an in. So it's like, okay, I want you to, because you guys would walk up. You know, the reason I showed Darius poses from before is because that's how the face you guys came up with. I was an asshole, but I'm like, yo, y'all too uptight. So everybody come up to the cage like,
yeah, I can't deny that.
That's true stress, man.
Corey wouldn't even come up. Corey might just say, I printed something, I need to get it. I'd be like, all right. Lango was with what's her name? Baby girl. He was booed up. Let's just put it that way.
I was married in college. It's true.
Yeah, he was. Man, things changed.
Man.
I'm out here now, man.
Things changed, Darius. Things changed. But what's the name? Anyways, and Micah was real quiet. You know what I'm saying? He had people that loved him. But so I was like, I gotta get these dudes to loosen up because the people I know, I went to Clark Atlanta University and I was like, yo, basically Art Institute Atlanta Decatur was an HBCU. Like the majority of students were African American, and I'm like, I need to help put them and get them to let me in, so I can I can help them get some, you know, some help, so to speak. So I was like, I gotta tease them, and that's just my nature. And I grew up, my best friends, that's how we Jones, and even when I went to Clark Atlanta, my mentors, that's how they came at us too, because they were trying to size you up. Like, if you're really about something, you're gonna come back to me. You're gonna realize if I'm even dealing with you or took the time out to make a specific comment, it's not meant to embarrass. It's just to let the guard down.
Yeah.
So I remember I would see Darius walking into the room and little chicks coming after him. Corey always had all the fashion girls coming after him. He was always clean. Micah would be sneaking in like, let me get a key, bro. Lango was just Lango. You know Lango. He was gonna say something. So I was like, I gotta get it in with these dudes because I saw you guys as leaders. Like I literally saw you guys as leaders. I was like, I need to get them on my side so they can help me help the others. Because a lot of those people didn't see it. They just saw me as, oh, you're the new black guy behind the counter. And I was like, more than that. There's things I can offer to help you guys as far as like even just the printing, like Corey said. I'm like, these are things that the motto of the school, the mission was to help you guys. So I was like, I'm not going to overcharge you for printing. I want you to put your best work out there so you can get jobs. The same thing with Darius. Like, all right, me and him got to talking, and I was like, all right, you come work here, but make sure you do your schoolwork and make sure you do my work, and then you're gonna go and get better. Because Darius would be notorious for like, I'm just doing my work, and I'm like, bruh.
Yeah, I used to have to get up and count them rooms sometimes.
Yeah, I was like, go count the rooms, bro. But you know, he'd be walking out like, you know, Darius with his 11-17 wingspan, like walking down taking change. And Lango was just, you know, basically, Lango was Lango. Like he kind of like, I teased Lango, but he had the same personality as me. Like he would walk into a room and tease somebody just by looking at him. But it was all out of, you know,
oh my goodness.
Yeah, it was all about love. So me and Lango from the beginning was like, we were cool. But everybody else, I just want to let y'all know, I wasn't trying to be an asshole. I just wanted you guys to let down the gangster grills. Like you guys, you walked up, everybody like,
yeah,
let me get a key to 214 or whatever the hell the room is. You know what I'm saying? Corey might send a chick to go get him something. Like, you know what I mean? He'd be like, yo, go pick that pain that for me. My first impression for you guys were these are the dudes who are the leaders. You know what I'm saying? So I need to ingratiate myself to you guys. So I just want to let you guys know that from the beginning. I know what everyone thinks because I heard, like, I controlled all the computers, so I could see what people were saying, and I heard everything. Like, and it didn't It didn't bother me. There's some people out there to this day probably still hate me, but I was like, hey man, I'm just trying to help you. So I just wanted to get that out of the way. So now my next question for you guys is like, what made you guys decide on game art? Because a lot of us didn't grow up in communities where these things might have been, let's say, in our faces. So like Darius and Lango and I think Corey was still game. All of you guys were game art design or some form of it.
Yeah.
What was the moment that you said, hey, I want to just not play the video games. I want to be in the behind the scenes of making the video games?
I go first. My story gonna be short. So
Okay.
like I told y'all on the last podcast that initially like everybody thought I was graphic. Like my initial coming into our institute was game art. Like I came in as a game and art design student. I wanted to, I seen how these games were being created, and like me being a more of a realistic like drawer. So I was like, how can I make that scene look better? Like I used to sit there and question myself a lot. Like maybe I could have drew this a little different from how they did it and made that scene a little more, emphatic with the, with the visuals. But when I got into it and the courses I was taking, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get up out of this because I was like, I'm not liking where it's headed. But I mean, other than that, game art always been a part of my life because I've been playing games. I done had every system known to man except for these elusive PS5s and Xboxes.
Did you
other than
Commodore 64?
I had everything.
You had a Commodore 64? You couldn't have. There's no way.
What is that? Oh, I thought you just said 64, bro. That sounds like that was before the Commodores.
That's already.
Like I don't.
That's floppy disk right there. That's floppy disk.
Yeah.
I have no knowledge of a floppy disk game. Only thing I know is blow a cartridge, put it in.
Floppy disk with the Atari controller.
A floppy disk.
That's just
that's some old school.
That's just
Lego about it.
I'm lost.
Some classic stuff there.
And the thing is, I thought I was a gamer, but I'm not.
When I came up, the video games were on the floppy disk, the big 3.5-inch plastic, and we had to put it in the machine, flip the switch to close it, and you hear the grrr, and you feel it spinning.
Damn. That system is what color is it?
I was very young, but I remember that. I know what Lynn's talking about.
The Commodore 64 was like an all-in-one computer. It was just a computer. You plugged it up to your screen.
Oh, okay. I remember that. No, I didn't have that one. I think they stopped making them.
Yeah, they did.
When I started playing games. But I had Super Nintendo. I had Sega Genesis, 64. I had all the PlayStations, all the Xboxes. I just, I played everything. Pitfall on, Super Nintendo. That was one of my favorite games.
64 and Atari.
Yeah, I used to love the duck game on Atari. I was addicted. But mentally, it was getting me ready, for the streets.
Yeah.
Translated.
I'm joking.
He's like, I know. East Atlanta, baby.
Yeah.
What about you, Darius?
Man, it's kind of like a similar story to Corey's, man. Like it was always an outlet for me, growing up in a single parent home. Yeah. My mom really was, she would buy us games growing up. I mean, me and my brother were very active, played a lot of sports. I grew up playing football. He grew up playing football and baseball. But it's something about just like the storytelling in games and just the fun of playing with your friends. Those are some of like the fondest memories I have, like playing games with people I grew up with, just like you were saying, in the same room before, gaming went online. And I, to be honest with you, it was either go to art school or go to the military. Not saying that I was forced into those two choices. I just see
for a lot of our younger brothers, these are the options. Like what I'm trying to point out is the reality of choosing this, because some people don't have that option. It's either don't do anything or just go to the military.
Right.
And that's the thing, man. It's just like, Corey was saying, you become curious about, okay, how do these games get made? Who makes these games? And that's really where it kind of started with me. like early high school till, you know, senior year. And, you know, then I found out I didn't have to take the SATs to go to art school. So I was like, oh, that's even better.
I wasted my time, man.
You know, full disclosure, I did not take the SATs, but I turned out okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a standardized test, bro.
Right? But yeah, man, it's kind of like born out of that and my desire to just
do better for yourself,
do better for myself, and you know, like I said, man, you know, my mom, she was somebody that was very important to me, especially coming out of school. I always wanted to do good for her, you know, because she always worked her butt off to provide for me and my brother. And yeah, it's you know, it's just always kind of at the forefront of my mind. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little choked up a little bit.
Don't worry about it, bro.
You good, bro?
Good.
But yeah.
All right.
It's all good.
All good. What about you, Lango?
My story is a little bit different because when I came to the Art Institute, I wasn't in gaming. It was graphic design. And how I got there was very interesting. I believe I told the fellas this before.
Well, you ain't told me, so go ahead.
Now, you ain't tell me either.
No. I'll let you.
The hell?
All black people black, bro. All black people black.
Before I came to the Art Institute, I was doing military contract work over in Dubai. So they used to have like these wild, like lavish parties. So I used to make some of the most horrible flyers.
Oh, okay.
Known to man, right?
I thought you were going to say life decisions, but go ahead.
No, well, that too. Well, yeah, I did a lot of partying, and that's
still making those.
I know.
But I mean, I was just throwing stuff together on. I had this raggedy gaming laptop. It was horrible. I think I was doing stuff like in Microsoft Paint and a bootleg version of Photoshop. Like
everybody starts in Paint,
dude.
Yeah.
If I can find some of these posters, I'll send them to you. And people they encouraged it. Like they was like, "Oh man, you know he makes these flyers and blah blah blah, and he's good at it." And beforehand, I didn't know what I wanted to do because I got out of the military. I hadn't kind of like
laughing though.
I had no guidance, nothing. I got out of the military. I started doing military contracting, and I was still trying to find my way. But I started creating these flyers, and they were horrible, but I was having fun creating them. And then people were paying me like a lot of money for this stuff. So I was like, damn, I can make money doing this. And then, you know, long story short, when I came back to the States, I was like, man, is there any kind of degree or program I can get into to kind of sharpen my skills with this? And so I was looking around. I went to Georgia State, which is, I'm so glad I didn't go there. I wouldn't have made it out. But, you know, I came across the Art Institute, and one of the admissions officers, man, she was so fine. But yeah.
Blonde?
That's not a coincidence. That's not a coincidence.
No, we had a
blonde hair,
but it was D. We had a long conversation about like designing and stuff, and I found the graphic design program, so I signed up, and that's pretty much it, man. I jumped into it, and the classes, everything, I liked it, and I sharpened my skills. I wasn't using a bootleg raggedy laptop anymore, and you know, I started freelancing while I was in school, and kind of worked my way through school, like freelancing and just doing little odds and ends things and living off my military benefits. And it was fun, man. I don't regret anything at all. The experience was definitely great, man. So, and I met these guys, and here we are.
That's it. What about you, Micah?
Oh man, I always say
right here.
Saturday morning cartoons growing up. Watched them till about what time did they end? 2:00.
Yeah, usually about. But yeah,
I know one thing that did catapult it, as cheesy as it may sound. Around that time, I think ATL came out, and
you thought you were
Well, I didn't think I was, but I felt that way.
He was on the brochure.
Oh no, I know who you're talking about, Esquire.
Esquire.
I get that a lot. But no, I felt like T.I. character. You know, he drew, but no one knew.
Wait, pause. What?
T.I.'s character.
He drew.
His character in the movie. I felt like the character.
You was Esquire.
I got that. I still get that.
He's saying he looked like him, but he felt like he was T.I. with
I
the whole hidden talent.
Yeah. You know,
but he was really Esquire.
I had the polo on and the golf.
I'll let you
Yeah. But no one really knew I drew except my family. And just I think it was a tour of the school and seeing other people like me, interested in taking courses on it and expounding on that, God-given talent.
Okay.
That's pretty much what drew me in, and just been freelancing and just doing my own thing ever since.
Cool. I mean, the reason I bring that up because I when I met you guys, I was super encouraged that young brothers took the opportunity to pursue higher education because in our community a lot of times people be like, oh, you don't need to go to college, and I'm not saying that you have to go to college to be successful, but sometimes if your surroundings are limiting you, and as far as options is to get what the information you need for your future endeavors, college is the next best option. So I was super excited to see you guys there and taking it this seriously. So when I say what made you come to college, these were the same things for me. Like, okay, I don't know anybody around me that does what I want to do, but I do want to do it. So the next best thing is to go to college and take this serious and see where it leads. Because from that, you guys now have your network. I was told this in my senior year by my mentor, Brian Jenkins. He was like, hey, the people that you work here with today and go to school with, they're going to be your network for everything you want to do in the future. And just you see the synergy. There's Corey with the clothing line, but now you guys, Lango and Darius, you're doing your what's the name, your podcast. Now you have this network and this connection with Corey that you guys have a mutual interest to help each other out. So now Corey gets his clothing line out there and to a whole nother mass of people that he might not have reached on his own, because now he's tapped into the gaming community. So anybody in essence who links up with you guys kind of have your personality. So now they have another thing from themselves that, hey, this is another way for me to show my personality. I'm going to buy brother's clothing. And the same thing vice versa. Now you're helping him and he's helping you. And going forward, and just even us doing this podcast together, this is your network. And so many people other than us in the African American community have these things that they utilize it every day. And we as a culture are so used to, I got to do it by myself. Mm-hmm. And the fact that you guys not only have a friendship, but you have a business working relationship is a beautiful thing, because in this game, entertainment, media, finance, you're going to have people to help you along the way. So many people think I just got to do it myself and get signed to a major label, whatever. But the actuality is you guys are your network. You are your business. So not just trying to appease the masses, you guys can create together and grow together. So that's what I wanted to let you guys know. Like this podcast, with you guys doing this reunion special, it's not just about me cracking jokes on you guys, but it's really letting you guys know you guys are the vision. You guys are that. You're not just doing something on your own. You guys are living a dream, something that I was told years ago that you have to do. And a lot of us struggle with that because we were told you got to succeed on your own. You got to get signed by this person. You got to work with the MTVs. You got to work with the BETs. No, you guys got to just work together and those people will come to you. So I just wanted to put that out there. You know what I'm saying? Knowledge, just wanted to let that be known.
Yeah. I agree with that, man.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Because
100%.
so much of your industry is who you know. It's not just what you know, it's who you know, and how you can help each other.
Connections. It's not forced.
Mm-hmm.
I don't go to Corey expecting nothing. I don't expect any like, yo, bro, can you give me your shirt? Like, no, I told him I'll pay for it. Like,
that's you got to do.
Talking about, because he even said, he was like, I can make you a XX, you know, and I'm like, well, let me know the extra cost. If there's any extra cost, I'm willing to invest in my friends. Like, I'm not looking, I bought artwork from Micah. I'm not looking for a discount. Micah, what would you charge the public? Charge me, because I want to support you. I want to support you guys. Like, if you have something going on, I want to genuinely support it, because I genuinely rock with you guys. Like, it's nothing fake about the connections here, you know. And I think that's very it's a key component to, you know, the growth of what we're trying to do. Like, definitely look at your friends and support their business. Like, look at them as a business. Like, I don't never ask for nothing from anybody. Like, I have a cousin, he's a videographer. Nah, like, I don't want nothing for free. I don't want nothing. Hey, what would you charge him?
Support back.
Charge me.
Definitely.
And if I take my craft serious, I'm going to spend the money. Just like, even with all this equipment, like, you know, me and Darius was talking when I back on my Yeti mic before I had my mixer and all this. And I was just like, nah, I'm going to buy this stuff because I want to sound good. I want us to sound good. I want, when people tune in, I want them to hear all this illustrious sexiness. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, it's what we've been harping on. You have to take
sexiness.
You have to take your craft serious, man. And I respect everybody on here and what they're doing in their own individual space. And if you ever need something from me, then just let me know.
Definitely. And like, quick shout out, the fact that you just said that, because, you know, we're deeper than just the five of us here on the thing. There's also, you met my man Tory Montrell. He put I'm gonna put it back up. You know what I'm saying? You yell at people in the hallways, because you did yell at people in the hallways for no reason.
He yelled at me when he first met me.
Yeah,
so choke people.
Throwing that out there.
Talk about that.
Yeah, he was known for just yelling at people arbitrarily. Like, I would be sitting in the cage and he would just yell at somebody walking down the hallway. Hey, what they do to you?
Hey,
you know what I'm saying? Hey, man, get out the way.
Come on. Yeah.
But
Tory
he did the graphic for the new logo. The just the fact that I called him up, was like, hey, can you do this for me? And I didn't call him to be like, yo, it's free. I'm like, what's the cost? Let's do that. Tori did something for me before that, because I was taught.
I work with Tori.
What's that?
I said we all work with Tori, because I've gotten things done too.
Corey, Mr. Fresco over here, he did one of our graphics for me before. I just hit him up like, hey, I need this done. And I was like, what does it cost? I'm not trying to get any discounts or deal, because I know you work hard for this. And I knew Corey's work, and I was like, I liked it. So, but Tori did the stuff for me. Also, there's Quay.
Yeah,
you know, he did stuff. You know, I've done stuff with Quay, and Michael, we got to talk about that. We're gonna have Quay on here, him and Tori on here, as far as the illustration and stuff, because Quay got something going on with the neon lights.
Well, yeah.
Oh, man,
I'm like, yo, I gotta get for that. I might put that in the background Lango, like I was talking about Darius with my background design, because y'all don't notice Darius got hexagons projected on his walls back there.
That's the honeycomb hideout.
Honeycomb hideout. You know what I'm saying? Honeycomb hideout in the background. I was like, oh, I'll be watching the podcast. I'll be like, yo, he over here got some nice, you know, interior design efforts. But I'm saying is, we have a lot of people doing a lot of things with a lot of talent, and we must utilize that. Like, that's something that I'm very adamant about. Like, that's why I started the podcast. Like I told Darius and Micah before, like, this podcast is not about me. It's the fact that I'm this older man who came from Trinidad and Tobago and was given a blessing to be here. And I talked to the Most High, Jah, a long time ago, like, yo, if you gave me the chance, I don't care. I don't need to blow up. I don't need to be super. I just want an opportunity to see the world. I need to experience more than just this little island that I'm on. And the fact that I know you guys, that's just the fruition of it. And the podcast is the really cool people that I've met along my journey. You know what I'm saying? I want you to get to know them, and I want to help them get out there. I don't need anything from them, because it was just amazing that I met you. Like, you know what I'm saying? This big world I happen to get to know you for. And I got to know Lango. I got to know Darius. I got to know Tori. I got to know Quay. I got to know a myriad of people that I never would have ever met, and we got along. So I want to give you guys that blessing. I want to give you guys that shout out. Like, you guys are doing great, and I'm gonna buy that. I'm gonna be shopping for my son, Corey, because you still ain't got my sizes. But
I'm working on it. I got you.
I gotta lose weight, bro. That's all I'm saying. I'm just projecting. Like, I gotta lose weight, bro. Like, I need to get down to like Lango level where I could wear a medium and be comfortable.
Feel good
like,
about it.
I still got a keg. Like, Lango, you might have what you got, like a 2.
Hey, bro, look, I got it's a little fat pack over here, man. But
I know, but I'm way beyond
to embrace it. You know, I'm not gonna ever have a 6-pack. I eat too much.
I know. I enjoy food too much. It's too good. Like, God put it there. Like, why? You know, why be a vegan? Like, I'm a sometimes vegan, but meat is too good. But
I try to be a vegetarian. That don't work.
Yeah, I did it for 6 months one time, and it was the worst time of my life.
Probably.
Like, I went green for a month, bro. I felt
great, but
but I was hungry though.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, I
wasn't satisfied.
The Beyond Meat stuff is dope though. I'm not gonna. I put that in my diet. Like, I will go. Like, if I go to Chipotle, I won't get any meat unless I get a burrito. But if I get the bowl, I'm getting the Beyond Meat stuff, the soy stuff. Like, it tastes great. I'm not gonna lie about that.
I might have to try that.
It does. It tastes just like meat. It really does, man. Like, people gonna BS about it. It's really good.
Yeah, but Darius and Lango, the next question is, where do you see your podcast? Not just your podcast. I don't want to just say the podcast and limit it to just that entity.
Yeah.
Where do you see yourself in the next, let's say, 3 to 5 years? And the same will go for you, Corey.
Super weapon.
Well, it's funny you asked that, because that's something that me and Lango discuss quite often. I want to say once a week at least we talk about just future plans. But as far as like the podcast, you know, what we plan on doing, like I told you before we started, you know, I'm working with a company to redo some of our overlay graphics, not just for the podcast, but for my stream in general. A lot of my branded stuff's being redone. Because we eventually we want to start having guests, not only just from the gaming industry, but we might, you know, do some gaming adjacent stuff, like maybe some music artists, you know, people who may, you know, because you know, you'd be surprised how many celebrities and all type of big people, you know, are gamers. Eventually, you know, I would love to get into some more produced content for YouTube. I think YouTube is a pretty big untapped market for me. I was uploading pretty consistently on YouTube until about April of this year. But I mean, because at the end of the day, man, you know, just like we always tell you, man, with streaming and stuff, and you know, even if you get to the point where you're making a stable income from your subs and stuff, every streamer has an expiration date. There's always going to be someone that's going to overtake the next person that's going to hit that point of, you know, popularity. You know, so I just want to create something that's stable in the long term. We're looking at expanding into other avenues of content with Super Weapon, acting as kind of like a bridge for other people to cross into. So, you know, like in the next 3 to 5 years, I really, you know, want to open up some more content. We will be launching a podcast early next year that's not gaming related.
Okay.
Just because
any teasers, or is it just?
I'm just gonna say we're gonna add a third host. I don't know, and it'll be a bi-weekly podcast, something more like kind of like a slice of life podcast. I'm not gonna tell you guys who it's gonna be yet, but something that we'll probably do like bi-weekly. But yeah, we're just looking at other ways to, you know, monetize it. Really, you know, the one thing I always tell people at the end of our podcast is, you know, if you listen to this and find it interesting for even 10 minutes, you know, please share it with somebody you might think might enjoy it. That's always a big thing for me. It's just, I want to meet more people who are in gaming. I want to just continue to grow and do the things that we've been doing and show people that look like us that, you know, you can make it outside of just playing football or being a lawyer or something. That's just really kind of where I'm at. DC.
What about you, Lango?
He pretty much he hit a lot of it, but I'm gonna add I'm looking to take over the next 4 to 5 years in my personal life. Next year, I plan on getting a house, so I'm gonna invite all y'all over, and you know,
that's a must. Trust me, I did that
that's
years ago.
the biggest thing in my personal life now. As far as content creating and stuff like that goes, the 5 year plan is basically to branch out from gaming. Well, not necessarily branch out from gaming, but kind of reach out to other people and bring them into our world, like Darius was saying, because there's a lot of people out there that they do game, they don't necessarily talk about it, but we want to have people like that as guests. And I think one of the major things that we want to do moving forward is maybe even along the lines of event hosting. And I want to look into getting an actual office type space where we can get things done once we start to add more podcasts, because I actually I'm scripting up a music podcast that I want to do. It's just all about, making the time and making sure that I'm not overwhelmed.
Yeah.
With a lot, like I'm gonna have to probably quit my second job once my other podcast.
So stripping is out the window. So you gotta
Yeah,
get.
man. Big Sexy gonna have to hang it up, man, because
They thought that man did go.
if anybody if you know me, you know I am obsessed with music. Not just rap music. I love all kinds of music. And so I really want to do like a music podcast, but it's not going to be like your typical music podcast. It's going to pretty much tell my journey through music from when I first started listening to like 3 6 Mafia, Misfit Styles.
I like that.
Yeah. And the podcast is not meant to last forever, because it's just kind of like a limited series where it's going to tell my story through music. So I'll go through my 3 6 Mafia phase, and I'll go through my No Limit phase, and the late 90s, the golden era, what I was listening to, what the moments where
it's amazing.
I was in a dark place. I was in a very dark place. I was fighting people a lot. I was listening to DMX. I thought I was crazy. to when I joined the military, and it was the tall T era. And yeah, like the way I'm gonna forge my life into the music is gonna tell a story. It's gonna be like,
here's the thing. Like I always tell people, like music, like I'm with you on that. Music is the soundtrack to my life. Like the music that I listen to is the soundtrack to my life. What I listened to in the 90s tells you where I was in life. 2000s, so on and so forth. Like the soundtrack to your life. That's always been my motto. Like I'm not one that subscribes to like, this is whack. Like I listen to stuff, the soundtrack of my life. But go ahead.
But no, because I want to start off at the 3 6 point, the 3 6 Mafia point, because in Detroit, no one was listening to that at the time. And there's a whole background story to it that I'm going to tell with each episode of the podcast. Like, brother was a Marine, so when he came home, he traveled the whole world, so he had a whole bunch of music. I remember when I first listened to Chopped and Screwed, like my mind was blown. I was like, yo,
me too.
I was like, yo, what is this? Like, they stupid. Like, why are they playing the music so slow?
Yeah, my cousin Nigel, he put me onto that. Like he came for a visit, he put me onto that, and I was like, Chopped and Screwed, you in the right frame of mind? Oh, it's the greatest thing ever.
Yeah, so like long story short, that's one of the projects I want to work on, and it's going to be, like I said, it may be 3 seasons. But I formatted it as 3 seasons, 12 episodes per season, something like that. So that's something I'm working on, and then Super Weapon will always be the core of what it's like the nucleus of what we're doing. There's going to be little branches. I'll do my side podcast. We'll have our third host. We're going to do the other podcast. We're still going to have Super Weapon going. It's going to be like on episode 174 or something like that.
That's
that's pretty much it, man. I just want to create my everlasting impression in this content creation. I want people to remember my name. And yeah, that's it, man. That's what I'm going to do.
Well, Fresco, we coming to you next. I mean, you already you already at that level.
Nah,
trying to catch up to him. Man. I'm telling you,
like you leading the pack right now. We catching up to you. But go ahead.
Where I see us going in 5 years. Honestly, I try not to think so far ahead because I can, like, if I tend to do that, I tend to lose train of thought for me for what I'm doing. But
that's
so
good.
like every day I just try to think of ways I can monetize off this whole brand. And like, so for one, I do want to create a platform for like up and coming like people who want to start their own clothing business. I want to create like a platform, for the people who are not familiar with like SEOs and pixel ads and promos and stuff like that. Like, I want to create like a subscription based like platform for like up and coming clothing brands that don't really have the funds and want to reach a certain amount of people. So I said once the page is at a certain number, I will go about creating that platform and giving it out to them, and making a subscription base where they can get promo through us, and utilize our networks and our following and our exposure on the like social side. But I do want to take brothers to a level where it's not just about clothing. I said this on the last podcast that I want to use it and utilize it as a tool to help me go into ventures I didn't, a lot of people just can't walk into, most people can't just walk into real estate like, yeah, I'm finna just go ahead and get this and flipping it. It ain't, stuff like that ain't that easy. It's a lot of, variables that come into play when you're trying to do stuff like that. So I want to get into that game. Like, we talked about the whole mobile home game and how you like that game is so huge. But, I do want to utilize brothers and his platform and his reach to help me and people around me venture off into like other things that we didn't think was like fathomable or reachable, to do. So I definitely want to get into the real estate and I want, a whole bunch of things, but 5 years, I want to have brothers, clothing and like a niche market. Like, I don't want it to be like, and I don't want it to be really accessible, but I want it to still feel exclusive at the same time. Like, I do want people to be able to get it. So we'll have the site, but I do want it to be in like certain retail stores or like certain boutiques. I don't want it to be like for the like super masses because I want to treat it in a way as like, it's one of those like commodities that you just have to have, but it's kind of like, it's not that obtainable, but it is. I don't know if I'm making sense, but
it's just like if you with the Gucci,
treat it like a rarity,
and all of those, it's there, but it's not always just
exactly.
I'm gonna go, not to knock it, but like, hey, I'm gonna go to Ross and go get me.
Like you know what I'm saying. And if we had a point where it's like a 10,000 square foot, warehouse or something, and we got like defects and they get it, that's fine. But like, because you can go to a Marshalls or a TJ Maxx in the Lynx area and get you a Gucci shirt for it'll still be $400-$500. It's still priced accordingly, but what
TJ Maxx and Marshalls you be shopping at?
The one off
by Lenox.
Oh, the one in Lenox. That makes sense.
Yeah, because I used to go over there. They base it off location.
One in Gwinnett, I ain't getting no Louis Vuitton or all that stuff.
Yeah, so like based off location, they sell certain items that other people want. So I learned that in the clothing part, but all of those clothing in there is just defective clothing. You don't see nothing wrong with it, but when it came off the line, it was something wrong with it. So they got to deal with some of these manufacturers. They get some of the bull and they resell it. So it's like, I don't mind if my stuff end up there. If I got the production to take a couple losses and like, hey, let's sign a deal with them and they can get these and this, that, and the third, I'll do that, but I definitely want to be in like an exclusive type niche market. You know what I'm saying? So if you're blessed to know me as a person, you ain't got to worry about that. You just hit me up.
Oh, that's dope.
Look at Lango did the flash.
Yeah, like you got Lango over here pledging Omega Side Brothers. So
yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he initiated.
That's good. That's dope. What about you, Micah? Like, where do you see yourself besides leaving me in 3 to 5 years?
Oh man, see,
he notorious.
Why would you say that? Come on, man. I definitely see with the podcast, like we talked about from the beginning, is that bigger than us, putting other people in the forefront, and just continuing to build, with our network. I feel like you said, there's more of us, and there's more people like us out there that might not know the how-tos of, like Corey said, SEOs, with Darius and Lango's podcast, they might not know the inner workings of what they can get for streaming and podcasting. So just keep getting that message out there is what I see always.
Yep.
That is dope. And for myself, this for me right here is just icing on the cake to being able to do this. And I know it's small right now, but continuing to do this is just, it's going to be excitement for me just to put you guys on. I'm already thinking in my head to reach out to Mike and be like, okay, the next set, we're going to reach out to the people we know who do art and illustration. We're going to do a podcast on that, get them out there and show these people. I got friends in media. I got friends in real estate. I got a cousin who she's what do we call a realtor, like a broker. Like she sells homes, but she can also help you finance your homes. Like she helped me through the process of finding my first home for my family. Like, hey, this is what you need to do, cuz get this, hook you up with this mortgage broker, and he's going to help you look at your credit report and do that. Like I just want to give all the information that I have for people that I know who do, like I said, cool things, and put it out there. I got friends who do podcasting. I got a homeboy who I met who was a writer for like The Source and Double XL, and he's big into podcasts and he does a lot of music related stuff, but also he's big into like craft beer. Like I was like, I didn't know that was a thing, like for black brewers. Like
that's cool.
That's real big in Atlanta, man.
Yeah, he put me onto another podcast called the Drought Season, and I watched that. And I'm not even big into beer, but it's just amazing to see that these people that look like us are doing these things. And in 3 to 5 years, that's what I want to be doing. I just want to link people up. I want people to know this person. I want people to do this. I have a friend, my wife's best friend, she and her husband, Creative Soul Photos. They do, I don't know if you've seen them, like they put the kids to look like in these, like they did a period, like they made them look like they were in old, the Baroque period. They do their hair up.
Wow.
They did something. They made these black African-American kids look regal. And they've been doing that since we knew them. And they one of my son was one of their first people that they shot. So like, I want people to know like, hey, this is somebody that's really cool, doing some really cool things in whatever genre you can think of. Finance. I've gotten to know people in those arenas, and I just want to, in 3 to 5 years, just do my part to help them get to a point where they can show their talents to the world. And I'm just in awe, and really, I don't even know how to put it into words. Like, I'm really happy that you guys are able to do this podcast with me today, and I'm really able to salute you guys and give you your flowers in the beginning, so I can say I knew them when. You may forget me in the end, but I'm like, yo, I knew them when. That way I can show my kids like, hey, I knew them, so I'm cool. You know what I'm saying? Want to put that out there, like, Brothers Clothing, go cop that. Super Weapon Podcast, go listen to that. These brothers are doing things. I'm gonna have my son paying attention, because I've been talking with my wife, like, I need my son, he's into video gaming, I need him to see someone that looks like him and doing it. And I'm gonna introduce him to the podcast, because right now he's doing his own thing, but I want him to see that it is possible. You're not just playing games. There's more to it than just playing the games. There's more to it than just fashion. My younger brother does the same thing as Corey. He does printing, but he doesn't have his own line, but he's doing cool things with printing and helping people with branding their companies and whatnot. So I just want people to get that information. So in the next 3 to 5 years, even if I have 100 listeners, I want them to know all the time, here's somebody that you can look at. Here's some information that you can use. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate you guys being on the podcast with me today. I appreciate you guys being who you are. I appreciate you guys doing what you do. Keep doing it. Keep pushing. Do your thing. And also on the low, one of my biggest things was, how often can I get Darius to laugh real hard? Like, I would do crazy stuff just to see how often he would laugh. Because if y'all know, people be like, when Darius laugh, everybody laugh. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I just want to put that out there. And also on another note, you know, today's my mom's birthday in Trinidad, right?
Oh, awesome.
I know she's probably watching.
Happy birthday.
You know what I'm saying?
Happy birthday.
Like, I have to put that out there because she went through a COVID scare like 2 months ago. Had me on my knees every night, bro. And I wasn't able to talk to her for like a little while because she was in the hospital. And I just want to put that out there, like, happy birthday, mommy. Happy 63rd, because of her sacrifice, I'm able to be here with you to do this podcast. And I just want to put that out there, like, all of us, we have to give each other our flowers. We have to appreciate. We have to work together to do our thing. And you guys are really, really doing that. And I'm proud of you. And I want to say that. I may have joked around with you and laughed, but all of it was in the intent that you guys would hopefully be where you are right now to do your thing, be out there, just being successful in your own way. Not what everybody says you should be, but in your own way. All right?
I appreciate that.
Thanks.
I want to say that to everybody, and I want to thank everybody, all our listeners, for being out there. And Mike and I are going to keep pushing and keep doing our thing. We're going to keep expanding, keep growing. Thank you for listening today. We tried to do, but we got right at the 2-hour mark, Corey. We
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, this is good content. I don't like stopping stuff just for no reason. So I want to thank everybody. Brothers Clothing, check them out. There's the information, screen at the bottom. Go check them out. New line dropping it. When is the new line going to be available, Corey?
It's out.
It's out now?
Yeah, I dropped it yesterday.
Got orders.
Oh, I thought it was
orders.
video. I thought it was a promo, like coming soon. So it's
no, it's out. I dropped that.
I gotta go cop something then. I gotta go cop.
I dropped that.
Super Weapon Podcast, fellas. Let us know about that. What's the hours? What's the times? Where is it available?
Oh man. So you guys can find us if you guys want to catch us live. We stream the podcast on my Twitch channel on twitch.tv/Darius the Artist. We go live every Saturday at noon. And we drop the audio version every Wednesday for the people who can't make it out. We're on Google Play, Spotify, iTunes. I mean, pretty much every major platform. You guys can find us there. You guys can also find us at Super Weapon Pod. That's our official Twitter. Find out what's going on, what we might be talking about that day. We also talk about we also drop like clips and stuff from the podcast, just funny moments or things that we felt like were important conversation. But yeah, man, we love interacting with you guys, man. You guys can find us there, man. That's the place to be.
All right. And then you can find us, Micah and myself, at Inside Our Podcast. We're gonna keep pushing, we're gonna keep innovating, trying to get it out there. Micah, where can the ladies contact you?
Actually, I guess I could make an announcement.
Hold up.
My website will be going live very soon. You can find me at Uncle Mike Works. That is the Instagram. Also the website, unclemikeworks.com. Stay tuned for details.
Appreciate it.
All right.
Down right now.
Make sure I follow.
Definitely. We're going to definitely push that out there. I would like to thank my guests. Fellas, thank you for being here today with us. You know what I'm saying? And all the fans out there will catch you in another time. Hopefully everybody tunes in. You see us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. Just check them out. Make sure to check out Brothers Clothing. Check out the Super Weapon Podcast. Check out everybody we know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I sent that link out too, so a few people was watching.
Okay, appreciate it.
I shared that link.
You see what I'm talking about right there? Black on black. That's what I'm saying. All right. All right. Thank everybody for joining us. I'll see you next week. All right. Peace.
All right.